I was working on two series at the same time, Kane Chronicles and the Heroes of Olympus, because I really wanted to try both things, and I didn't want one to wait until the other one was done. And I knew the fans didn't want to wait either. I am now just working on the Heroes of Olympus for the moment. I'll start working on book 5 very shortly. But starting next year, we're going to have a new series coming out as well, Norse mythology based, which is something I have always wanted to do. I've loved Norse myths ever since I was a kid, so can't wait to get started on that as well. I'm working on research for the Norse myths. A lot of it I already know because I taught it along with Greek myths for many years, but there's always more to learn when it comes to mythology. I'm still learning new Norse and Greek myths even after writing about them for so long. I'm not sure why I waited for Norse. Actually, that was the first kind of mythology that I ever really got interested in. I got interested in that from The Lord of the Rings. I had a great 8th grade English teacher who said, "Rick, if you like The Lord of the Rings, you should know that's based on Norse mythology." And so she kind of opened the world of mythology to me. But it's always been sort of percolating in the back of my mind. It's not something that I ever really got to write about. I guess I needed to find the right moment and the right premise for approaching that series, and I think I finally got it.
So you taught both Greek and Norse mythology when you were a teacher?
Yeah, when I was a teacher, I taught 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and every year I would find some sort of mythology to cover with the kids. It would either be Greek or it'd be Norse. Sometimes we'd do Indian or African or Chinese mythologies. There's so many great myths from around the world that really, the only problem is figuring out which one I want to cover and which to leave out.
So you did, for the paperback of Serpent's Shadow, you added a short story, The Son of Sobek,
yes.
That brings together characters from both of your series. Is that something you've been thinking about for a while?
Combining the two series, the Egyptian and the Greek, is something that my fans have always been asking me about, and certainly it's something I've thought about. In the Kane Chronicles, there are a few shout-outs here and there to Percy Jackson's world. At one point, Carter Kane looks up and thinks he sees a Pegasus, and he's not quite sure what to make of that. So yeah, the idea for having Carter meet Percy was something I wanted to play with for a while, and when Disney came to me and said, "We'd like something special to promote the paperback for The Serpent Shadow," that just seemed like a natural time to tackle that. So The Son of Sobek was the result. It's about 40 pages of adventure with Carter and Percy. Fabulous stuff. I loved writing it. Would I ever go back and do a longer crossover? Love to. It's just a question of when and, if I have the time to get there. I have to confess, kind of making it up as I go along. House of Hades is really the Persebeth book. The fans talk about Annabeth and Percy as their two favorite characters, and not to give away too much, but at the end of the last book, Mark of Athena, Percy and Annabeth were in a pretty bad situation. And this book has all the characters in it, but really the focus is how are Percy and Annabeth going to survive? So I know that's what the readers are waiting to find out, and this book hopefully will give them the answers. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been 8 years since I wrote The Lightning Thief, and at the time it was really just a story for my son. I didn't intend for it to be published. I certainly didn't have any idea that it would be as popular as it is. But really, I don't think that my motives or my way of operating, my way of writing has changed too much. I still start a manuscript and imagine myself reading it in front of my own middle school classroom from back when I was a teacher. And I want to create a book that works for all kids, not just the big readers, not just the kids in the front row, but the kids who might never pick up a book, the kids in the back who really are reluctant readers. And if I can craft a book that hits everybody at some level and that resonates with all of the kids in any given classroom, then I feel like I've done my job. Oh yeah, it's surreal. The number of letters I get from all over the world, the number of kids who tell me that they turned into readers because they discovered my books. That's fabulous. That's the biggest reward I could ever hope for. So yeah, I think it is a surprise every day. To tell you the truth, I don't know that I've slowed down any time in the last 8 years to really process what's happened and how much things have changed. But my family is the same. I drive the same car now as I did 8 years ago. The kids have been in the same schools. We've tried to keep things at home very stable, very unchanged, and that, I think, helps keep me grounded, just to know that my wife and kids are there, and you know, however big the books get, I'm still Dad. I'm still Rick Riordan, you know, and my teenage sons are not going to be impressed no matter what. So.
Now your oldest, or Haley, who you
Yes.
started this series for,
Yeah.
am I right that he's working on his own book?
He is, yeah. Haley's 18 now. He's getting ready to go to Emerson College in Boston to study creative writing. I warned him it's kind of a crazy profession. I didn't want him to feel like he had any pressure from me to be a writer. I mean, he could be whatever he wanted, and I would be proud of him. But he really, really wants to do this. He's very driven. He's finished his first manuscript, and it's actually with my agent now, and I'm letting them work it out. I'm trying not to get involved. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's very excited to get into college and study creative writing. He actually writes for a slightly older audience. I think he writes what could best be described as YA sci-fi thrillers. At least that's what I've read of his so far. Okay. So it'll be very interesting. It was really great working with him. He's incredible about taking criticism and working through problems. And so I think, I don't know what'll happen, but he certainly has the drive, and he certainly has the potential.
Do you want to stay writing for that middle grade audience? Or
I do. I mean, and just because my background is working with middle school, I know those kids. I have that sensibility. I think if I tried to write YA, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't have that kind of thinking. I don't think in terms of YA. I don't write for that group. And as popular as it is, I think I better stick to what I know and what I know I can do.
Still working on book 5 then?
Yes, book 5.
Title unknown.
Title will be announced. It'll be printed at the very end of the House of Hades. That's sort of the way I've been doing it. So when you read House of Hades, you'll know what the next title will be for book 5.
Perfect. Well, I cannot wait to read it. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.